Yes, what a guest we've got. It's a belter. First goalie we've had on. Not just the biggest hands I've ever seen, but the biggest Henry Halls I've ever seen as well. Rab Douglas, how are you doing?
Thanks very much. Thanks for the invite.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
Well, looking forward to it.
Been desperate to get you on. Wonder if you remember. Do you remember you chased me at Barrowfield one day? Got us in a chokehold for about 10 minutes now.
I think so. Vaguely.
I was being cheeky at you, huh?
Ah, well, there you go then. Serves you right.
Only time I've felt strength like that since is when my missus cuddles into us at night.
Who's got the bigger hands?
But by the way, I want a square go with you after it to put this right.
Right, okay.
How you doing at Arbroath, mate? Enjoying it? Coaching
Loving it, coaching. Good
New
club,
Terry
great
Genoa.
club. I never ever thought I'd get into it. The gaffer asked us up at Forfar to go up and help. Obviously, Forfar.
Dick Campbell, obviously.
Legend. Learning off of him. And I kind of came out the game when he left Forfar. And I didn't think I'd get back in. Kind of enjoyed my weekends, and I went up to help him. Just sit on the bench for a couple of Scottish Cup ties. One of the goalies there, he was on loan. I think Robbie Much for Aberdeen. They wouldn't let him play in the bench, go on the bench. Ended up on the bench. Played once last year at the ripe old age of 46, I think.
Is that what you had, 46?
47. In fact, 45. I played at Hampden. We won 2-0, got a clean sheet.
Wow.
So that was my one and only game for Arbroath. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's great. Hadn't played in just on 23 months. I hadn't played, but to go and get a win, it could have went either way. But
especially with your goals.
Well, very true. Clean sheet, even caught across.
What?
No, I loved it. Great. It's a good club, great people, good board of directors, and a great bunch of boys.
What is it that keeps you going, Rab? Is it just a love of the game?
Natural enthusiasm. I like it. I'm obviously a lot younger than the gaffer and Pink and Youngie. I say to him, I still look for my holidays during the season, a couple of days here and there in Benidorm or wherever, recharge your batteries. And they're good with that, the goalie. I've got good goalies at Arbroath. I'm lucky that way. Darren Hill and Darren Jimison and a couple of boys come in and train. So it's great for me.
Brilliant. What a season you're having as well. Right, first into football. Because we've never had a goalie on, I want to ask you, did you want to be a goalie? Be truthful.
I played outfield as a kid, 8, 9, 10, Smileham Rovers, started off, went to Kirkfield, and it's Kirkfield's 50th anniversary this year. 3 men started it, Mr Mackey, Mr Forrest and Mr Swinburne. Still keep in touch with 2 of them. Mr Mackey's passed away. I was luckily enough, managed to give them all a Scotland shirt.
Brilliant.
So I played outfield. Went to Kirkfield, Mr Swinburne, who's involved at Motherwell, his family are involved at Motherwell, became a goalkeeper. Every now and again I would play outfield at Kirkfield as well, but about the age of 10 I kind of took a passion for being in goals. Boyhood heroes were, believe it or not, Neville Southall was my ultimate.
Looks like me,
Neville Southall, Bruce Grobbler and Ray Clements, they used to that was the 3, Shelton, that era was when I was growing up.
What was it about the goals that you wanted? Was it just the height thing? Were you big?
I think I wasn't the biggest. Obviously I was tall, but I went in and thoroughly enjoyed it. And just
getting balls off your face?
Mr Swinburne's son was a winger and he used to come out and give you extra training, he would play 1-2s with his son to come in and get shots, different angles and stuff like that. It was really got into it about that age, about 10-year-old, and never looked back.
Why do you think you weren't picked up for a youth academy?
I saw boys, under 14s, my teammates at Kirkfield went S-form with Motherwell. One went into Rangers S-form, one went into Celtic. It kind of drifted through, went and played with Motherwell under 15s, and then went amateur. It wasn't... Maybe wasn't good enough, maybe I didn't like what they saw,
And you got a trade as a brickie as well?
I was a bricklayer at Lanark. I was in the Retained Fire Brigade, Retained Firefighter 91552.
Oh yeah?
Was it
hard graft?
Lanark, it was mostly road traffic accidents we had. As soon as it started snowing, you could just stand outside the fire station, your pager would go with all the road, the traffic crashes, but it was great. So obviously guys you worked with, guys you knew. One of my pals, same age as me, Andy Davidson, he was in the fire brigade as well, so it was great.
Good laugh. See the amateur stuff, how unprofessional was it? Was it fags and blue WKDs on the side of the pitch?
Believe it or not, I was in the second team at Simon and Tinto. There was 2. The second team were the kind of ruffians, and we played in the Lanarkshire League. But we had rules. It was set amongst the players. Boots had to be clean, shirt and tie. If you didn't train, you didn't play. Where the first team, the Caledonian, they just basically didn't train and they played. But eventually progressed into the first team. And it took the manager a wee while to convince me. The goalie broke his arm And he said, right, big stuff, you're coming with the first team? I said, no, I'm staying with my mates. I said, I should have been the first team at the start of the season. That's my mates that I win and lose with. And we were. Win, lose and fight together was that second team.
Was there fights in that?
There was a few.
You're known for a fight, especially at Celtic as well in the tunnel, aren't you?
No.
Is that where it all started?
I think it all starts. I think that's your teammates, you stick together, you know, whether it's Peterhead, whether it's Arbroath, whether it's Simon and Tinto, you've got that bond with your teammates.
So when did it start to become more than just a hobby? Was there a time that you thought, right, I'm good enough, I've got a wee chance here, or was it always just a hobby for you?
It was always a hobby at Simon. We actually built, there was all the boys were different trades. We built an extension on the clubhouse. I don't think it's even finished yet.
Right.
But we built an extension on the clubhouse. I was last off of training. I wouldn't say I was the most talented, but I had the biggest desire. You know, I wanted to try and improve myself 18, 19, 20 at that age group. And one of the Meadowbank goalies broke their finger. I got a shout to go and play in a reserve game, and I did okay in a couple of reserve games. And they signed us, and it kind of went from there. Never ever, I honestly thought I was miles off it. The first year, I didn't think I was good enough, and then I thought, fuck it, sink or swim, you know. And that's when I started learning to swim in the big bad league of football. I was on the bench, kind of in the squads on the bench to start with Meadowbank, and I didn't drive. I got home at midnight every night after training. Cost me probably 14 quid. I used to get a tenner expenses, but I wanted to do it. I thought, the second year especially, once I'd buried myself in, and then I got playing more there. I mean, my debut, we got beat 5-1 down at Queen of the South, which wasn't great, you know. You're thinking,
this is not for me.
This is a hard gig, but it's a great learning curve, you know. I'd played a couple of junior times, but stepping up from amateur level to that was, you know, it's a big step. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
But see, for young people, it is true. Hard work is everything, isn't it?
As I say, I had the biggest desire. I wasn't the most talented. I was last off the pitch. I wanted to try and improve myself, you know, and that's what gets you there.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. Did Meadowbank convert to Livingston? Did that help you as well? Did it become more professional after that?
I think it definitely did. Some of them went full time. I think they took 6 or 8 on full time. I wasn't one of them.
Devastated?
No, not devastated. They brought in 2 Barbadian internationals. Big Horace, the goalie. Horace was the favourite.
Horace at Dundee at Celtic?
No. Horace Stout. No, he was about the same size as Horace at Dundee. But it was a great learning curve, the Meadowbank thing for me. As I say, I didn't drive. The train used to go almost past my hometown, didn't stop. Getting at midnight. Got to Livingston, and I was playing regularly. And I probably kicked on more from the start of Livingston. About a season and a half at Livingston, I really kicked on there. I started working. I'd worked with Murray McDermott, Roy Baines.
Inverness, he played for Roy Baines.
Roy was at Morton and Celtic as well.
Right,
there was an old guy, Tam used to take us at Meadowbank as well. Tam well passed away. And then obviously Dundee came in for us. But I had so many managers as well. Donald Park at Meadowbank.
Oh, did you have Parky, did you?
John Brownlee, Mickey Lawson, Big Leash. Leash eventually sold us.
How was Jim Leishman?
Brilliant. Same, football Saturday, get the best out of part-time players. We were playing Arbroath to win the title. Before the game, he comes up and rams this medal that far away from your face. Come on, son, you want one of these? You want one of these? This is mine for 1960. We were 4-0 up at half-time against Arbroath, and we won the title that day. He brought the medal out after the game. It was a 5-a-side medal. Didn't matter, it worked. You know, the motivation was there. And managers still do that nowadays, so it's great.
What about wee Parky? Because he could be an angry man. You ever on the wrong side of Parky?
I didn't, but one of the goalies had a beast up at Arbroath. I think we got beat 3-1 or 3-2. He had a hand. It was Hurricane Arbroath. Meadowbank got beat 3-1 or 3-2, and Parky went to the goalie. You start looking for another job on a Saturday, like working in McDonald's. That's when I thought I maybe had a chance at football.
Yes, I'm in. But as you say, Dundee came in for you. Were you surprised to get such a big club as Dundee to come in?
Yeah.
When did you first hear it?
I'll tell you, I was in the fire engine. We were going to a shout, and I said to the boys, I might be going to Dundee for 30 grand. That was the first bid. Ended up 60 grand, and Kevin McGee went the other way. So it was a 100 grand deal between Dundee and Livingston. I didn't know too much about it. My son had been in York Hill Hospital with a heart condition, so I hadn't been training all the time. It was pre-season, signed for Dundee the night before the season started, and Peter and Jimmy Marr had the hotel out at Inchture, so we were pre-match out there. John McCormick's team talk. This is Jim McAnally, your gaffer, will confirm this to you next time you're training. Cowboys doing the team talk. Obviously, son had been in hospital, travelling, training, a couple of days. Team talk. I was like, Jimmy Maxey says later on, did you fall asleep? I said, I think just ever so slightly, but my first ever full-time professional gig, and I've
fell asleep.
We were in a conservatory and it was absolutely melting.
I know the one in the Inchure Hotel.
Jim McAnally will never let me forget that anyway.
But it's hard to fall asleep in a John McCormick team talk because you see no off his nut as well.
Well, you
picked your managers, didn't you?
But it was great. I loved it at Dundee, I must say, and to this day I always insist they took the gamble on me full time. Peter and Jimmy, whatever they paid, they got it back. But full time working with Billy Thompson, was a breath of fresh air. Probably took my body a month to get used to it, into the full time training every day. But did really well that season with Dundee, and we won the league. Is
Billy Thompson a top goalie coach?
Brilliant, absolute brilliant. Nature.
What makes a good goalie coach?
If Billy Thompson can coach Jamie Langfield and Derek Suter to reasonable levels, he's a top goalie coach. And myself. With the patience of a saint, because they two used to wind the life out of him.
What, just wind him up all the time?
But he was brilliant. Billy was so laid back, but great coach.
See, Langfield and Suter, obviously characters, but see when you're off fighting for that number one spot, is it hard to stay pally with each other?
I think goalies have got a unique bond. I saw you'd asked us that question. I think even at Celtic, there was Gouldy, myself, Magnus, Dimitri Karine had been there, Stuart Kerr, Javi Sanchez-Brotto. But I think when you work together so closely, it's a different, you know it's only one place. And to me, I would never want a fellow goalie to go in and make a mistake, because to me, that's more unprofessional than that. You want to be better than them, you want to try and do better, but it's just that final line.
Mm-hmm. See, would the goalie coach be like a manager for a player? No. Is he more on your side? I
think the goalie coach is more in you. There's no hiding places, you fine well know. When a goalie makes a mistake, it's a goal. Mm-hmm. You let the ball under your foot, it's a throw in.
Yeah.
There's no hiding place. Probably a counsellor and a goalie coach it is nowadays.
Right, won the first division title in 1998. Was that surreal? Obviously, nearly 2 years ago, you're playing against amateur players, now playing against guys like Larson, Alberts. Did you actually need to pinch yourself sometimes? I
think in the first division we got Rangers in the Scottish Cup. I think that's when I realised, the step up. We drew 0-0 at Ibrox, did really well. They beat us at Dens, but obviously it was about the club generating money. We were on Sky a couple of times, but it's a great experience. You're thinking, coming from the second team in the Lanarkshire League with Simon and Tinto to get into the SPL, it's great to say to people it's possible. I went full time at 25, so that everything's possible.
Do you think it's still possible for me to go back full time?
Nah, forget that.
What about outside the goalies? Who were good guys in that Dundee dressing room?
We had a great squad. We had Darius Adamchuk, Jim McAnally, James Grady, Eddie Anand, Dave Rogers, a Scouser who was a legend, Big Brian Irvin, who kicked in sight.
Gary Irvin's uncle, innit?
Yes, Big Brian. Great sign. I think what Cowboy did then was went right through the middle of the team. Myself, Brian, Jimmy, James and Eddie, and then he filled in the rest, and that squad was a great squad for Dundee.
Did you always feel when you were at Dundee that you could play higher? I know it was a big jump that you'd already had, but...
I never thought that way. I was really enjoying it. My first game, we won 3-0. My debut at Dens, we won the pre-match. We beat Falkirk 3-0. I had a great save, but I came and missed a cross, and my missus said that I was shite. I wasn't married then to her, but she wasn't too impressed with the new goalkeeping signing. But it just shows you.
So she was a Dundee fan?
She was a Dundee fan. Her dad was Peter. So that was her opinion on us before we'd even met. So
see, going into a team like Dundee, with the players a lot more harsh way than they were at, say, at the amateur side?
I think they took to me because I probably come in, worked hard and done well for them.
You could see that.
I think it could have went either way. They might have went, oh, he's not good enough, or he is. It's a step up from part-time, but I come in and got a good run of clean sheets and done well. And
you done well because Rangers, there was an interest for Rangers. How close did that come?
I never spoke to Rangers directly. They'd got in touch with Peter Marr, and it was $850, I think, for me. And I was told I would play 6 games Closs would be injured for 6 games. I was told I'd play 6 games and then I'd be back in the bench. Hodgie was obviously the national coach who I'd had conversations with, being in some of the squads, you know, like the Bees and that. He was keen to work with us. But I think for me, my principle was I just wanted to play. You know, I'd been used to playing at Livingston and Dundee, and Blair went back to David Murray, and David Murray's words were, worst case scenario, Paul Ritchie. I think Paul Ritchie played 1 game and was out the door, wasn't he? David Murray's any unhappy player at Rangers can F off. So I was a Motherwell fan, so it didn't bother me either way. And then Celtic got in touch. I think it was 1.2 or 1.3. Went and met Martin O'Neill. Never met MD from Rangers. Went and met Martin O'Neill and John Robertson. We're moving ashtrays about formations and stuff like that. You know what? How well, fully Robert's out. You know how enthusiastic Martin O'Neill is, and you weren't guaranteed anything there. He says it's a fight between you and Goldie. I want you to come. I said to Blair, I would like to go to Celtic. Blair says, Robert, I'll double my money if you go to Rangers. He says, but I'd advise you to go to Celtic.
Brilliant. Yeah. Would you have fancied yourself to play ahead of Closs? Would you have backed yourself back then? Was he sensational?
I just wanted to play. Didn't matter to me, as I say. I supported Motherwell.
And you thought Goldie was rubbish?
I didn't think Goldie was rubbish. Goldie done very well at Celtic. Goldie came up as an unknown and done very well for himself at Celtic. Keep in touch with him. Great guy, great goalkeeper, and you know, great memories with Goldie. Lots of good memories with Goldie.
But see that with your agent, that's brilliant for him, isn't it? Because no lot of agents would have done that.
Well, you know, most agents would shovel you into wherever he's getting the most money.
Yeah.
And to me, I always tell that story about Blair, because Blair's one of the best in the business for that. And, you know, you appreciate his advice as well, but it was onwards to Celtic.
What was Martin like the first time you met him?
I think you could see the keenness. You know, he was wanting to build the squad. Dimitri was there, and Stuart Kerr, and he just basically says it's a fight. If you want to play, you know, you'll get your chance. It's down to you. Where basically Rangers, I was told I would be in the bench,
right?
Which wasn't really for me. After being at Dundee for a couple of years and playing so many games, I think Saturday's about playing.
Of course,
you know, you want to go whatever level. You know.
But see, at that time Dundee was starting to spend big money. Obviously, Benetti came in, Caniggia. Was there no wee temptation to stay and see how that played out?
No.
Why not?
I think they shoved me out the door to get the money in. I loved it. As I always say, they paid 60 grand for us plus the player. It was a 100 grand deal. I came from nothing. I was a brickie and a fireman. I get the chance of full-time football, and I'm always grateful to Dundee, Peter and Jimmy Marr and John McCormick. I could have went Bosman and I re-signed again because I thought I was due Dundee a turn.
Really?
That was so I re-signed, and Dundee obviously got a good deal in the Celtic deal. I got a wee bit myself, but I just thought...
How much did you get?
No tell me. No, but I'm quite principle driven when it comes to things like that, you know, and I would like to think I had a great rapport with the Dundee fans, and that's never changed for some reason, so it's worked well. You're
a legend there. Big fish in the Dundee dressing room. How were the nerves going into that big Celtic dressing room for the first day?
It's daunting. It is. I don't care what you say. You know, it's like a new day at school. Whatever club you go to, you know, you go to Leicester pre-season for your first day. It's like a new day at school. You're like the wee. But sat next to Chris Sutton, who I never ever thought I'd keep in touch with, and I actually. And when Sutty texts me now, I just have a laugh to myself, piss myself laughing, because the first day I think he cut my socks up. You know, but that's Sutty. Big child. No, great dressing room. Huge, big characters, and it is. You probably take a wee while to settle in. Did any of them come up and help you? Did any of them come up with a word with you just when you've signed? They make you feel welcome, there's no doubt about it. I think your big connection there is any of the boys you've been in the Scotland squads with, etc. Goldie was great, you know, I must say. And Goldie and I have spoke, you know, you're vying for the same position. It's a hard one. You end up rooming together, you go for coffees, and you know it's you or him that might be playing. You made your debut 4-1 against St Johnstone. Were you happy how you done, despite the conceding the goal? Done fine apart from conceding the goal. You know, Celtic, that was a team that could score, you know, 4-5 every week nearly. It was a really good team, but I think you've got to pinch yourself then when you realise how far you've came. You know, some people will say you're good enough, some will say you're not good enough, but I played 160 odd times for Celtic. I gave it my best, and I would rather have played 160 than been some of the boys around the time that I was there that maybe played 18 or a couple of games and out the door, you know. It works for some, it works for others.
Is it, see when you're playing for for Dundee when it saves all the time to Celtic and you've got most of the ball, is it just about concentrating
Massive
more?
concentration, massive.
Is that a mental thing then?
Everything's magnified. I think I was always vocal. I think probably tried to be more vocal at Celtic to stay involved with the game, but it's a big ask. You know, any mistake, I flogged 2.5 out of 3 in an Old Firm game, and it was magnified 100-fold. You know, I had a sports psychologist who I've never even met analysing me. Things like that. You know, it's magnified so much, and you see the Old Firm games nowadays. There's cameras everywhere. You know, it's.
Is that hard to deal with? See, when you're getting that pressure on you all the time, every mistake's magnified. Is it tough?
It's no easy. It's no easy. You know, there's no hiding place being a goalie, as I always say. You know, the person that you show me a goalie that's not made a mistake, and it must be the finished article. There's even the boys, the top ones in the Premiership at the moment, are making mistakes. It's such a fine line.
Is that where a good goalie coach comes into play as well?
Yeah, it's
because Terry Genoa was there at the time.
Terry was great. Terry was great. You know, we'd go back over things in video to look at. You know, maybe starting positions or things what you. On the build-up, you could maybe done move position, but Terry was great then, and you know, a gentleman, keep in touch with him.
Did you feel your life change? Obviously, with it coming from a small town, a Dundee, to Glasgow.
Of course, it changes completely. You know, being a Motherwell fan, as a kid, I'd went to one Rangers game and I'd went to one Celtic game, and then I went to Motherwell, and I used to go and watch Motherwell home and away, so I wasn't used to supporting either, you know. But your life changes when you're in the Goldfish Bowl, as you call it in Glasgow.
See, when you first went to that Celtic team, who were the ones that in training particularly stood out for you, players-wise?
Lubo was unbelievable. I would love to see a young Lubo, what worth he would be in the Premiership, both feet. Henrik was exceptional, you know.
Straight away he was exceptional as soon as you went in.
And the games and that, his movement, his finishing, in the air, just his attitude to training, full stop, you know. But, I mean, some of your young kids used to get put in as well, you know, and you could see the quality there as well.
But they were ruthless, weren't they? They players like Lenny, because I remember Eddie McGeady first came up, and you know he was the most talented of us, and Lenny's shouting he's not good enough, get him back to the youth team. And
McGeady was put in, Fozzie, Maloney, McGlinchey.
Yeah.
In the first team, but it didn't matter who. They were getting booted up and down the place, because if you were in an opposition team and it was a game, it was a will to win.
Did you enjoy Martin O'Neill's training? Was it? There wasn't much tactics or that involved, was there?
It was Wally did all the training. It was great. Wally did all the training, you know. And then the boys used to ask for shooting. Wally just used to tell them to fuck off. And then Terry would do the shooting at the end. You know, it was unbelievable. But you played so many games in the season between all the cups. If you're playing qualifiers, if you Scottish Cup, League Cup, testimonial games, etc., your internationals, you're playing so many games, you were only topping up your fitness.
But are you surprised that team done so? Because I never seen you in tactics or shape or anything like that. Are you surprised at how well you've done? Or was it just top players?
It was a great team. It was a great team. I think everybody kind of knew their role to a certain degree.
And obviously, as I said, big characters as well. Was there plenty of nights out? Would you socialise together?
It was the old 6:05 kick-offs, if you remember, on Sky. So it was straight out after the game on the Sunday.
Would you? Was that?
It was a few, yeah. It was.
Who'd be the usual ones that'd be out?
I think it was near Tomo, Sutty, Johan, Tommy Johnson, Gouldy. It was a great squad, you know.
Was Tommy Johnson no a bit of a madman?
Tommy was a madman now.
What, just winding people?
Aye, Tommy was a live wire. He just couldn't stand still.
Sutty, as you said, mentioned you sat next to him. Was there no story about him and Tomo and Donegal?
Yes. It was Jackie McNamara's testimonial dinner and golf day. So we'd played on a Saturday. I think we beat Aberdeen 5-0, flew over. Pipe band or brass band piped us into the hotel, night out at the disco, golf the next day. Ballyliffin golf course for Donegal must be 30-40 minutes. It was a camel ride, so it was a taxi out, me, Tomo and Sutty, and the driver had the heaters up, full pelt. Threes are hung over like that, mate. Windiest roads, mate, go and turn the heating down, put the windows. So, with golf, it was torrential rain. I think my team, I was playing with the hotel team, and we walked in after 9, it was so wet, right? You should have got a medal for going out in it, to be honest. So, Dougie, the Parksy Hamilton bus was over. Dougie, the bus driver, was sitting waiting us. So me, Tomo, Sutty, I'm going to say Tim or Roddy, one of the security boys, and I think Jamie Church. There was another one for Celtic there. Halfway home to Donegal, we stopped at this pub. Country pub in the middle of nowhere. 3 guys in playing pool at the bar. Sutty, Tom and myself. I'm sure Roddy the dog was there. Roddy, Tim, and I think Jamie Church.
Right.
So 3 boys clock it on. It was the day Bellamy was texting Shearer allegedly. That day, the very same day. So we're in the pub. Tom puts a chap up at pool. Tom was very good at pool, as you used to see in the green room. So Tom was beating these 3 boys, beating them time and time again. Next minute, there's more guys come in the pub, more guys come in the pub, more. An hour later, there's probably 75 to 100 guys, and obviously jungle drums that some of the Celtic boys are at. There's this old boy behind the bar, and there's trophies behind the bar. These guys invited us to a game of darts, doubles. So me and Sutty are playing these 2 boys at doubles darts. Says to the barman, "Big man, we're playing for that trophy." And it was a Sean, never forget it. It was a Sean something memorial trophy. And the night of the dinner, we won at darts, me and Sutty. The night of the dinner, I've walked out with the trophy underarm. The night of the dinner, you've got the Scottish Cup, the SPL League Cup, and the Sean something memorial trophy sitting in between the 2 of them. We took it back to Celtic Park a lot. But we says to the boy, he says, "If you leave that bus there, you can do what you want in here." It was absolute, what a day.
Amazing.
Wild. You know, just big roaring log fire, pool table and dart table. The 3 is with a couple of the guys running about Celtic and the big parts of Hamilton bus outside.
Amazing. Would Martin O'Neill encourage that? You going out together and having a drink?
I think he liked everybody being together. As long as you didn't push the boundaries too far. He was big in the team spirit.
Is that probably one of the reasons why that team done so well?
I think
the team
so.
Spirit?
I think so.
Because you won the treble in your first season.
Yes.
How good was that? First season at Celtic treble.
I was cup tied. I didn't play in the CIS Cup, but I mean, to get your treble in your first season was amazing. You know, Big Jim Leishman always used to say to the players, and it's still the same, you're there in the history books. Nobody can take it away from you. Folk will say, "Oh, you're murder or that," but you're there in the history books, or you've achieved something. You know, that was a team. You look at what Brendan Rodgers' teams have achieved, what Lenny can hopefully achieve as well. So it's unbelievable.
You mentioned Martin O'Neill there as well. What was he like with goalies? Was he quite harsh on goalies?
Wasn't he a fan? Definitely wasn't he a fan. There was one story, for some reason, it must have been one of the last year or second last year. I was obviously in and out of the team. I played the majority, but I was linked to a club down south, and I had a great penalty save against Motherwell. It was actually that good a penalty save. Sutty gave us a cuddle. And we went back to the stadium. We won. Johan gave a penalty away. We won at Fir Park. And we went in, and Martin O'Neill phoned Blair and absolutely slaughtered Blair about this story in the paper. Obviously, he thought it came from Blair, but he absolutely had a right go at Blair. But he wasn't a keen. He used to say, "Goldie, you gave me heebie-jeebies, son." But he could give you it. He could give you it, you know.
What's the worst you've seen him?
I think I gave Bobo a ball one time. Now, Bobo was side on at Partick, and the gaffer says, Rab, what you doing? And so I answered him back, "I didn't play next week." Honestly, didn't play next week.
Was he ruthless?
Aye. But you respect him. You know,
you scared him a wee bit, Rab?
No, you respected him. I think everybody respected him. But there was one thing, you never crossed him. You would never cross him. You know, I remember him and Johnny having words at a semi-final as well. You
Johnny
know,
Gould?
Johnny Hartson.
Hartson, right.
Because I think he subbed Johnny. But I think Johnny's lack of movement was an issue. But he wasn't a great fan in goalies.
But then was there the opposite side where he could make you feel a million?
One of the games, I think Bellamy got the hat-trick at Tannadice. I had a great save late on, and he's up cuddling us, you know. He would fight your corner. He would fight your corner to MD, you know. But he was I don't think he was a goalie fan.
Obviously, Martin O'Neill was a massive influence, but his assistant manager, John Robertson, absolute character as well, wasn't he?
Legend. We were playing Dundee at Parkhead, and the ball goes out just in front of the Dundee dugout. So Rob was arguing with the gruff voice, hey, that's our ball. Dario Benetti, Puma trainers, fold over tongue, pimpled sole, burgundy drain pipe cords, and a parka jacket, right?
That sounds like me at the weekend.
Dario's arguing with Robbo, and Dario goes, hey, fatty, what have you ever won? John Robertson always called me goalie. He goes, hey, goalie, Go and tell that big diddy how heavy that European Cup is to lift twice.
Brilliant, what a man. See, obviously with that team as well, because I remember training them, how ruthless they were. See, if you made a mistake, would there be 2 or 3 of them, certain ones that would just be on you all the time?
Lenny, Petrov. Petrov was one of the worst.
And he's still your good mate?
I think Petrov and I had each other by throat in my last game in 2005 in the Cup Final. He said somebody do a cross ball, but it's the winning mentality is instilled.
It was crazy in that team, the winning mentality, wasn't it?
But the best one ever, you'll have heard it about 3 or 4 times now, the one with Bobo in the dressing room when Lenny came in and had a go at Bobo.
We've only heard it briefly, no fully.
Lenny comes in as a go at Bobo. Magnus actually played that day. He must have fancied it. Magnus played that day.
Must have fancied it.
I was in the bench. Lenny came in and the go at Bobo. He cost a goal. And then Stan came in. But Stan wouldn't let it lie. And Bobo says, Stan, shut the fuck up. Stan had an hour go. Well, next minute, Bobo got up. Tomo jumped in his locker. There was Jim Henry.
Who was a big boy.
Big unit. Magnus, unit. Myself. Terry Geno. John Robertson tried to get involved. He gets swatted over the treatment table by Big Bobo. He did a commando roll off the other side of the treatment table.
Could you stop Bobo? I
think if you had to, but...
You wanted them to get to Stan?
All Bobo did... You should have. That would have been good value. But I think Stan's shorts were needing replaced that day.
You mentioned him briefly, just Larsson. Just a wee bit about him. Obviously, you'd have been in goals with shooting practice and stuff like that. Was his finishing unreal?
He was unreal.
Is it better than Mo Salah's?
I think so. I think the thing with Henrik was a lot of his goals were headers. His movement for the size of him and his height, he could climb in there was unbelievable, but he had everything. Free kicks, penalties, headers, he'd round the goalie, he'd chips, he had everything. He had absolutely... And to go from Celtic, Man U, Barcelona, that tells you.
Was there times that you were in awe of him? Nah?
Not being a goalie, because you hate losing goals.
Would he have been the best finisher though, in shooting and stuff like that? Who else would have been up there? Hartson?
Petrov had power. Petrov's power was unbelievable.
Right.
He was wanted to improve. He would do shooting every single day if Wally would let him. Petrov was a really good finisher.
Right. Who else would be in amongst that group of wanted to shooting all the time?
Sutty would do it for a couple of minutes.
Was Sutty good finisher?
Sutty always had a good place. Tomo was a great finisher.
Left foot.
Tomo had a wand.
What was he? He'd always shout Keegan and Beardsley, wasn't he? Right, we're going to talk about Europe. The club beat Ajax to qualify for the Champions League for the first time. How good was your first experience European night at Celtic Park?
I think to me, any European night at Celtic Park, if people have never been, they've got to go and get the atmosphere. It's sensational. I think it's actually improving since the time we were there, with the Green Brigade, etc. The disco lights and all that jazz.
You'd have been dancing at them, wouldn't
you? See me dance. But it's one of these things where we're probably the underdogs, and to go and qualify was unbelievable.
Do you get nervous before games, Rab?
I used to always have. I think it's a certain degree of nerves was a good thing. But I mean, probably 7 years ago, you're playing in an amateur part on a Saturday in the second team in Lancashire, and then you're going for a Champions League qualifier, and I did relatively well, so it was great.
I ask everyone to see when that Champions League music's playing. Could you walk off?
That's it. That's the best ever. It is. Yes.
What, as an exciting way, or do you actually shit yourself?
I don't know. I don't. I enjoyed the Champions League music. That was a buzz. That was the thrill. I think then it sinks in that you've achieved something.
You've done it. Controversial first game against Juventus. How furious were you when they got that penalty?
It was only a matter of time. I think they'd have played another 6 minutes if they could have, till they got something. That's soft as. Did you feel like you didn't get a lot of decisions because maybe not as big of teams as other teams? Probably in that level, yes.
And would Martin O'Neill say that before games, that the ref's not going to be on your side?
I think you got to fully expect that. I think especially after the Juventus, it's a quick learning curve.
And would you let them know that in the tunnel, the Juventus players?
You're spewing. You're absolutely spewing, because to go over there, I think that year we could have teams have qualified with less points, so it was a big kick in the nuts, that one. See,
with the players, he's always confident playing against big teams like Juventus. You always think you could beat them?
I think you saw Celtic's record at home and away. Away wasn't as good, obviously, but you certainly feared no one.
Because see, now as well, you see sometimes, I feel when you see Celtic in the Champions League, sometimes they're playing for draws or just not to get beat. But
I don't think
was your
we've-
case
nah.
always just to win the game?
I think that squad and team, I don't think Martin Neal would let you try and play for a draw.
Need to talk about your standout game in Europe. 1-0 defeat to Valencia in the UEFA Cup. Best ever performance for Celtic?
Probably best performance, but it's still a kick in the nuts again because we get beat. It was one of those days where you come, make a good save, come and get across, and it was a great stadium. I always remember it was up in the
Mestalla.
gods, aye. And I think Bobo and I did really well. As a back 4-5, we defended well. You know, we did well. It's actually disappointing when I saw it, when you see the goal back, because I didn't see it till late and get a hand to it. But they'd obviously been working on their free kicks. But great performance, you know. And as you say, to probably not get a clean sheet or get a win over there for, you know, when you think you've done so well as a swordsman.
See, for a goalie, see, the performances like that just happen sometimes. Where
Yep. Same. Probably I played in the 100th derby at Tannadice. Hadn't played for a couple of weeks. I'd been injured with my thigh. Came back in and a Billy Dodds squiggler went through my legs and I still saved it in the line, etc. You make a great save late on. Sometimes you maybe get a good save early doors and you're off and running and you know it's going to be one of the nights.
A good game. You saved 2 pens in the second leg shootout as well.
You're just hopeful that's enough.
Who was it? Who were the 2 penalty takers? Do you remember?
No, I'd be a liar.
Did you enjoy penalty shootouts? As a goalie?
I was actually quite good at penalties, believe it or not. That was probably my speciality. I saved a Figo penalty with Scotland as well. So
did you? Brilliant. Would you practice penalties?
No. I was always used to try and work out myself. Had my own wee thing, and I learned a thing off Canizares about walking out and closing down the size of the goal before a penalty taker takes it.
Right. So walk out and then back onto your line.
And then when you're standing there, the goal looks a lot smaller. But try to read players' run-ups and that. It's changed a bit now, the way they whip the ball, etc. But I was actually quite good at penalties, and I saved 2. But I think actually Henrik missed, and Jos missed twice.
What was Jos doing hitting a penalty?
Jos is still trying to take that penalty.
With his brogues on. See, if he's got through that Valencia tie, do you think you could have went far in the competition that year? Because, as you say, some big results that season.
Big results, but listen, Valencia is one of the footballing
big guns.
Big guns. The odds are probably against us, you know, even at home that night. But we certainly gave them a fright that night.
Did you feel like the big teams respected you as players in a team?
I think they knew especially when they came to Celtic, that they were in for a night and a game.
Would you swap jerseys as a goalie?
I've got a few, yeah. I've got a few.
Who for the European one?
Yeah,
Who did you get?
I've got Canizares, Buffon, Dudek, Radfrido.
No bad, eh?
I wouldn't swap with Bayer.
Because after the would you not swap him there? No. Did he ask
your
to swap?
No, your
we'll
own
come to the
top.
final in a minute, but
Right.
did you?
No. I never even spoke to him.
Right, okay, we'll come to that, okay.
Right.
But summer 2002, Swedish international Magnus Hedman signs. What's your thoughts when you're playing in the team? I think he came for quite a bit of money. Are you worried?
You listen. You're never guaranteed to play. I don't think Martin Neal would tell any player they're guaranteed to play. I might be wrong.
Would he tell you he was signing a goalie?
I think you're always aware that you're needing another goalie. You know, whether Stuart Kerr had left or that, it's kind of obviously to add to the squad. Magnus comes in, you think, well, he signed him, so he'll play. You know, but it probably gives you another wee boost to go and work harder again, an incentive. And I don't know how many games Magnus's career was at Celtic, but I think I would safely say I played more than him. But that's, you know, some moves work for you, some don't, and it probably worked less for Magnus.
Why do you think it never worked out him? Because he technically was quite a good goalie, was he not?
I'd never seen him and Gouldy, the first couple of sessions were absolute smashing the ball at each other. I'd never seen MD serve a ball as hard as Magnus in my life. Like, hands up and it's in the net. You know, you could hear the ripple off the net. And I thought, he'd great feet as well. He had all the attributes, because obviously you've seen him playing with Sweden. It's a strange one that it never worked for Magnus, but sometimes that happens.
Maybe just the pressure, because it was Coventry City, was it before? Maybe not a bigger club coming to Celtic and the pressure's on you all the time.
Maybe more pressure.
He loved his karate, didn't he? Remember it?
Yes, great feet. Always remember he used to do two-touch and the quick feet with Big Terry. It was absolutely sensational touch.
Do you get a sense straight away how a goalie's going to be? See, when you're up against him, so within a couple of weeks, can you tell straight away if you're better than a headman?
It's hard to see, because you see boys. I've seen guys who are rubbish in training, go into games and do great. And you see guys that don't train, but, you know, the reverse. I just couldn't work Magnus out. He was, you know...
Strange character, wasn't he?
Aye. But obviously Magnus came with the profile, etc. The goalie and a teammate, he's a lovely guy. You know, I wouldn't wish him... If he went in place of me, I wouldn't want him to make a mistake, because I've been there and made the mistake, and being a goalie, it's the loneliest place when you make a mistake, you know?
Yeah, we all know what the best thing about Magnus was. Right, road to Seville. Managed to keep your place. That must have been the best season of your career.
Yeah.
See, before the start of the season, was Europe a big aim for Martin O'Neill? Would you have said that?
No, I think we went out to battle that year. Did we know in the Champions League qualifiers? Late on, and over there we missed a really good chance. I don't know if you can remember it. The gaffer was down. I'm sure Bal put us out that year. I might be wrong, but I'm certain Bal put us out, and then it was UEFA Cup we went into, and we just kicked on. I mean, that squad.
How soon into the competition could you tell that he's maybe had a wee chance?
I always remember the Stuttgart game, and over there I think we went up ahead really early, a couple of goals up, so we were like 4-1 or 4-2 up, and then we lost a couple rapid, and we kicked off, and Lenny passed it back about 45 yards from kick-off, from conceding a goal. Lenny passed it back 45, and I probably kicked it about 45 and a half back to him. I was going mental at him. But just kind of... I think if that game had went on another couple of minutes, the boy Hleb at the time...
Hleb, a good player.
Great player. At that time, if it went on another couple of minutes, I think we could have struggled that night. But that was probably all about our team, just getting on with
it. Quite a lot of the boys that we spoke to for that era said about Martin O'Neill's team talks in Europe. Can you remember much of that?
I think he just used to make you feel so confident, you know, and believe in yourselves and your teammates. And obviously everybody goes on about the Liverpool one. For me, being a Liverpool fan...
Oh, were you right?
I was a Liverpool fan. Dalglish was my hero. King Kenny growing up. And getting a clean sheet at Anfield was perfection. I'll never forget Big Johnny's goal. Burst the netting, or rifled the netting. I've turned around at the cop and put the hands up, and I'm looking at one Celtic fan with the green and white hoops on, and we've made eye contact. He's in the cop,
No
I'm
way.
expecting him to get flung about. I mean, they were everywhere. The road to Seville, you know, fans were in the away ends and that, but it was great.
How nerve-wracking was the second tie in Boa Vista?
Clean sheet and you're through, and Henrik scores late on, wasn't it? So we were underdogs probably nearly every tie we played, you know. So to get that, for the final whistle to go, the relief was sensational, you know. You realise that you've achieved, or you'd half achieved, you know.
Is that the best final whistle you've ever heard, that when that Boa Vista one went?
Probably self-satisfaction, yes. Being a Liverpool fan, getting a clean sheet down at there was amazing as well. But Boa Vista, I think the relief, and obviously for the fans, the journey, I think it was more than 20 games we played. So. See,
a dressing room, when you've won the semi-final, you're in the dressing room, you're going to UEFA Cup Final, big players like the Suttons, would it be jumping up and down, or was it quite calm and composed?
Well, I think that night was a great atmosphere. It was. I think everybody was quite excited about it. It's 2003. You're talking 16 years ago now, believe it or not.
I know you didn't. It's just because your looks, mate. You didn't realise how long ago it was. But would Big Sutton was obviously one. Would he not always take all the credit after big games? I've got you there again and stuff like that.
Sutton used to hammer Clarkey. Clarkey obviously was a European Cup winner, so Sutton used to tell him about the Blazers and that.
Oh, what a man. You had some Warriors playing in front of you, as you mentioned. Bobo, Johan, Jos. Who'd have been your favourite to play behind?
My favourite always was Johan.
Right.
Always. Johan just had... Bobo played in the reputation, which was great. Well, the big daddy get me sent off against Barcelona, didn't he? Everybody laughs, it's great, Bobo's going to get you, but at the end of the day, I missed it playing in Barcelona, and it launched Marshy. And I'm delighted for Marshy, because he's a great guy, he's a great career, he deserved it. But Johan was a steady Eddie. Johan was a silent assassin. He just went about his business, where Bobo played. I mean, when you used to hear the hoofs coming with Bobo, they big 6-inch studs, the big rugby studs, you'll remember them.
He'd even wear them in training, wouldn't he?
I've never seen a guy take as much care with his boots. So personal, the laces, studs, clean them, Vaseline round the heels, tape, rugby studs right across the 6 of them. But when you used to hear the hoofs coming, listen, he did he did what he was asked. Martin Neal only wanted his centre half to head it and clear it.
See, when you're playing behind the Bobo, is there always that thing that he could make a mistake here?
It's the same in any position, though. You know, Sutty or Henrik make a mistake, they can get away with it to a certain degree. You make a mistake out in the wing or that, it's a throw-in. Bobo makes a mistake, he's got the goalie maybe to bail him out. The goalie makes a mistake, it's a goal. That's the nature of the beast, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Would Johan be one that you were always in communication with? Would he be the one that would marshal that defence?
Johan's English was great in that. I think Johan was comfier with the ball than Bobo. Was a silent assassin. Johan played right back, centre back, could go into midfield. That was how good Johan was, you know. And when Bobo just drove with the ball, everybody got out the road.
Right, European Cup Final. Walking out to the European Cup Final, was there thoughts, amateur, bricklayer, firefighter, does all that come into your head when you're walking out to play? Or is it just totally focused on the game?
I think it's totally focused. I think when you walk out and you see the trophy, it's, you know, you realise how far you've came. But to go out and see the support was amazing, you know.
Did you get to see much of the support?
I don't think you take it in. You're so absorbed in trying to focus for the game, in all honesty.
See, the night before a UEFA Cup Final, what would you do?
I think we maybe did video analysis, I'd be a liar. We definitely did a night on Porto, I'm sure. I think you're focusing on just how close you are, you know, and I think we just fell short. You got to remember, all for Porto's theatrics and that, they went on to win the Champions League the year after. They weren't a bad team.
Deco and stuff like that.
Henrik was outstanding. We'll all take our criticisms. Bobo and I get it. Probably as a team we just fell short, and speaking to a few of the boys, a couple have said they didn't perform either. Probably made a couple of saves before half-time myself, where they could have went 2 or 3 up.
That gets forgotten about, doesn't it? Which is the annoying thing as a goalie.
That's part and parcel of being a goalie. You know, that's your job, try and keep it in the net. The third goal, it bounces up. The pitch had been laid 2 days before we trained in it. Bounces up, hits my knee and breaks out. Probably if Bobo was in the pitch, I wouldn't even have been out there and went for it in the first place. But that's the difference. That's the difference between 11 men and 10 men.
Yeah, the decisions you need to make.
I take the criticism. It's broke out for me. We're down to 10 men. We're chasing the game after that. Henrik's 2 headers were sensational. We just fell short, in my opinion, but that's...
Is that the hardest it's been, criticism?
To me, that's the hardest it's been. I think you look, clean sheet Blackburn away, clean sheet Liverpool away, clean sheet Boavista. Nobody complains about you then. Nobody would say, oh, would they won it if Boric or Foster or Brotto played or Hedman? You know, we were all happy. It's one of these galling moments that it just breaks up, bounces up, hits my knee and pops it to the boy. And I get a nick in it and it takes it away for Ulrich in the line. Yeah,
it's hardly like a curious against...
No, but it's still, you're involved in it, and that's the hardest part. As I say, probably if Bobo was in the park, Bobo would have covered that, and I'd have stayed in the line because Bobo would have been with the runner.
So he's killed you again, Bobo. See, with the Porto antics, did you know that they would do that before the game? Was it spoken about?
I think it just escalated during the game.
How frustrating was it?
Oh, it's destroying you. You know, you look at them and you think, it's no... You win finals in style, that wasn't how you do it. But listen, they get the cup, you know, and that's probably the hardest part.
Did all the boys kind of refuse to swap jerseys not after the game?
I don't know, I couldn't tell you.
But you didn't want to swap goodbye?
No. When you're rolling about in a cup final, there's nothing wrong with you. You know, it's
hard to take. Was that group of players good at lifting each other as well after that game? Would people go around and say, lift each other straight away?
That was a sore one, that.
Is that the quietest you've probably seen that?
Yep, that and the Motherwell one on the Sunday.
Yeah, tough. Was it tough to recover, or do you just need to get on with it again? Because when you're at a team like that, it's just another big game around the corner.
It's always a big game. I think the Dicks won the Kilmarnock game. I didn't play. Javi played. I was dropped. He played Javi. Tomo missed the penalty, and I think that was another. We could have ended up with 4 and we ended up with 0 that season.
See when that happened with you, when a goalie came in instead, would you be wanting to go and speak to the manager and ask why you weren't playing?
I think the gaffer and I spoke after it. It's on the day of the game, it's no right or anything like that. You let it, you know. So we spoke after it, and you got to respect him. He's there. He's well paid to make the decisions, you know. So
Right, okay. Back in the team, played against Barca in the UEFA Cup. The tunnel, what happened? Jackie McNamara actually told us you were trying to calm things down.
I was to a certain degree. I went in and Koku's like roaring and shouting, he's fucking crazy. Like Bobo's got about 3 of them up in the corner of the tunnel, and I've went in and there's no say. It was more a melee. There wasn't any like straight punches getting thrown around. Bobo's got about 3 of them swinging them about. And I'm sitting and wee Jackie comes in, as you fine well know, big Rab, you're off. You know, I'm thinking, I've got a clean sheet in the first half against Ronaldinho. Life's great. I've just helped Bobo there. I've just helped Bobo.
And I've battered people. I'm the man.
And then it sinks in that you're missing playing in the new camp. You know, and
of course,
that's the biggest kick in the balls for me.
Did that sink in straight away? Did that hit you straight away?
Probably when I'm sitting in there, when the boys are all the way back out. Marcy's had to go on. Marcy does great. He's a game of his life in Barcelona. Comes home, does well against Rangers. You know, love Marcy. Great boy, great goalkeeper. And was delighted he'd done so well because he was thrown in there, but he handled it brilliantly. You know, but that's when you think, Bobo,
what you did?
You know, there's no much difference between the two. Is there? One's got a goalie top on, big white gloves. You know, it's your teammates. To this day,
you'd have done the same.
Exactly.
Is that hard? See, when Marcy's going to play and you're not rightfully suspended, wrongfully was the problem.
Well, Celtic appealed it and it got refused or rejected.
You're raging
probably the only chance. Oh, it would have been the only chance I would have got to play in the new camp. Maybe from a selfish point of view, Marcy was great, and I think we won 1-0 that time. Big Johnny scored maybe. But it just shows you.
Could you still help Marcy? Was it too hard? Was it too hard for you?
No. Listen, I've always said to you, I wouldn't wish ill on any goalie that takes my place or that. I would always be there, advice, and try and encourage him and get him ready, mentally prepared. So you do that.
Did you know that Marcy had the ability to go and have a game like that? He was a good goalie, wasn't he?
Very good goalie. Very good goalie.
Do you think Marcy would have? I know he's had a great career, but did you think Marcy could go to the top?
I think he could have. I don't know if he maybe left Celtic just too young. But I mean, he had a great career at Cardiff, and he still played
in the Premier League and stuff like that.
Brilliant.
So after that season, we're going to 2004, 2005. Seeing Marcy emerge, doing well, was there a thing in your head that I'll need to compete with Marcy now for the number 1 spot? I
was never guaranteed anything in my life. I always knew I was going to have to battle whoever it was, whether it was Magnus, Dimitri, Goulde, Stuart Kerr. And no, I don't think anybody at Celtic was guaranteed their place. Seeing Marcy comes through probably tries to, you try and do that bit better and extra yourself. See that upbringing that you had, do you think that helped you in battles to become number 1? I would say so. I was never handed anything. I had to work hard for whatever, whether it was the second team, I was last off the training pitch. But I think it instills that inner desire, maybe, which some are probably lacking now. Yeah, brilliant. You and Bellamy were the heroes, 3-2 win at Tannadice. Great late save for Barry Robson, wasn't it? Yes, I always get pelters at Tannadice because I played with Dundee. Oh, behind the goal. Pelters, but had a great save. Bellamy scores a hat-trick. Just before you tell that story, how good was Bellamy? Unbelievable. He had everything as well, pace. But when he came up to us, he did very well for us. 2 great feet as well. Lightning. And what was it, his watch? We're at John Hartson's 30th, so Bellamy's sitting with this watch on. Let's see your watch, Bellamy, so he takes it off. Frank Muller. It would have been 20-30 grand. Wow. No. He says, Bellamy, that is absolute. So I had a look at it and he says, big man, I've never won a thing in my life. If we win the league, that's yours. There's people sitting, I'm thinking. And then obviously Motherwell beat us 2-1. Oh, no. It's the last thing I thought about on the Saturday night. No. The Sunday night was the watch. But, you're sitting there in the dressing room. You've just got done in a helicopter Sunday and you're thinking, you're absolutely gutted. You want a medal more than anything because the medals that's there for your kids or your grandkids or whatever. You pass them on to your family, whatever. You're there. And obviously we get done. I think the second one just clips up off Bobo into Scott McDonald as well. We'll come to that as well, but see, just up on Bellamy,
He used to come to the youth team games and watch it because he gets a bad rep.
Aye.
Was he a good guy? Good for the dressing
I
room?
thought he was great.
Chirpy, wasn't he?
He was chirpy. He certainly wasn't lacking any confidence, you know. He didn't need to take confidence tablets, certainly.
And what was the text to Shearer? It was the two boys, wasn't it?
I think it was Shearer was playing against Newcastle, against Man U, and I think Bellamy was abusing him. I don't know. It was in the papers and all that, but he wasn't with us that Sunday. He was out later on that night. He appeared later on.
But did he enjoy a beer night as well, Bellamy?
Yeah, of course.
Good lad. You were back for the running, as we say in the league, the Motherwell game. See, going into the game, were you confident with that team, the players that you had the game would be won?
Yeah, you'd been over the course with them. You knew. Everybody was trusted, you know. I think we missed a chance. I'm going to say maybe Johnny or Bellers missed a wee chance and they came up the park and they nicked one. Then the second one we got a bit deeper and the second one lifted off, either up off Bobo or Stan, Big Varga. And that was us, you know. But it just shows you it's such fine lines.
And see, obviously you mentioned the dressing room in the UEFA Cup Final, that dressing room at Motherwell. I mean, did anyone speak or is it just silence for...
It's just stunned silence.
Tough. And what, is it just up, showered and away?
I don't think MD showered for a while. I think you're just sitting there, you know, try to take it all in.
Do you still sit and say you sit at night and do you still think about that? Yeah, what could have been that season?
You play things over. You play things over, but how many times you hear it, you speak to guys, oh, if I had been or if I had stayed off this or... I think when you look back, things happen for a reason. You can't change them. You know, it was an exceptional squad. And we got done in the helicopter Sunday at Fir Park. It was a sore one to take. That was the sorest.
And you could have had that Frank Muller.
That big Frank Muller.
Do you think you'd have give it?
I don't know. I'd love to have found it.
I have no idea, Leonard. With Martin O'Neill leaving as well, did that make it even harder?
Obviously, Mrs. O'Neill hadn't been well, etc., and I think that was the reason. But Strachan was coming in. Big Terry just told me that I wasn't getting another contract, you know, so I had to start.
Did you want a new contract?
Well, you've got to be offered one, and obviously Strachan was coming in, so, and I never got offered one, so I think he signed Boric, which is, listen, that's football. You move on. I had 4.5 years at Celtic that I've still got pals that I keep in touch with, teammates, staff at Celtic, not just the football staff, you know, outside. So you meet great people over the years.
Like myself.
Best boot boy.
Cheekiest boot boy.
The Nike Tempos.
Oh, we need to talk about the Tempos. Why did you choose Tempos all the years?
I'd wore them since I went to Dundee. Loved them. Loved them. And I think there was probably about 100 pairs in the Nike Tempo Museum. So I always wore them. But to me, they were the greatest, comfiest boots. Black boots, straightforward.
Need to get them back in the game.
Correct.
You bowed out with the Scottish Cup. An emotional day to finish.
Clean sheet. Clean sheet.
You like the old clean sheets, didn't you? Are clean sheets that important to
Of course, of course. Not just to a goalie, to the back four. Good way to finish. Good way to finish your career at Celtic, certainly.
Were you emotional when you left Celtic? Do you get emotional?
Not really. I think I knew, obviously, you've got a shelf life at certain clubs, etc. And Strachan was coming in and Terry said to us, he's not keeping, you know, there's no con. That's part and parcel of football. You know, it's very rarely will you get a second contract at clubs.
Just finally on set, how do you look back on your time? Best time of your career, would it be?
You look back, silverware, nobody can take it away from you. Great time, great friends, great people. I'm glad I played. At least I played. Made mistakes. Played the following week. Had the balls to do it. Got on with it. I didn't go and hide. Some people are quite good at that, but for me, no the best, no the worst. But great times, great memories, as I say.
Brilliant. Leicester. You went to Leicester. How different was it in terms of Celtic and in terms of pressure and having to win every week?
Leicester, Craig Levein took over, signed a load of Scottish guys. They got rid of all their high earners, and we really struggled. We really struggled at Leicester.
Why do you think that was? Just
I don't know if it was too much a squad overhaul maybe at once. we just couldn't get going. We had periods where we would pick up and then we'd tail off again. Craig Levine tried bringing us in at afternoons, double sessions, before games, etc. And it didn't work.
How was Levine as a manager? Good manager?
Very big in video analysis then, he was. I don't know what he's like now, but very big in video analysis.
Paul Hartley said that as well when he was at Hearts. He was big on the video
massive
analysis.
on it. We couldn't get going with Leicester, you know. It was like 2 steps forward, 3 back.
Who was it, the Scottish boys? Who did you get on best when you were doing that?
Kisnorbo, loved him.
Patrick played to Hearts.
And, great guy.
Oh, was he in it?
Aye. Good player.
Funny.
Got a bad knee injury. Aye, hilarious. Momo was there.
Momo.
Stevie Hughes.
Rangers, right, okay.
Alan Maybury. So we Joe Hamill. It was a
good
big contingent of Scottish boys, but don't know if it was maybe too many Scottish boys or played about 35 games the first year, tore my thigh, and Hendo, the goalie, Paul Henderson, done really, really well and never get back in.
See, just on Brendan Rodgers going there now, what do you think he'll miss at Celtic compared to Leicester?
To me, Leicester was a great place to live. Lenny told us Lenny gives a list of villages to go and look at. I would have lived back down there. One team city, big sports, Loughborough Uni, the Tigers at the rugby and that. Great place to live. But I think the stadium, the buzz from Celtic, mind you, he's into a Premiership with Leicester certainly, but who's their rivals? You know, Notts Forest, probably Championship. So he's not going to get that. And
do you miss that when you're not there? Do you miss the Celtic Rangers games, the European nights, when you see it when you're watching it? Would you still watch it on the telly and stuff like that?
I think you miss the European. I miss the European nights. I was up and down with Old Firm games, you know, highs and lows. But the European nights, to me, nobody can take. Sensational. Sensational.
And just on Lenny as well, good to see him back in the Old Trafford seat.
Absolutely brilliant. Delighted for him. It just shows you how football can twist and turn. Brendan Rodgers decides he's going. Lenny's available. Lenny gets back in, picks him up. You know,
he was an absolute winner, wasn't he, Lenny?
You would want him in your team. I do a charity golf day, and one of the boys says, "Hate him." I says, "You're golfing him." So they were out at the 7th hole. So he came back in 5 hours later. He went, he's a Motherwell fan. He says, "I'll buy him a pint and I'll buy you a pint." He says, "I would never hear a bad word said against him actually meeting him in person." It's just the conception, the preconception that everybody's got of Lenny. But he's a winner. He's a winner.
Brilliant. Right, eventually turned to Dundee, where the club went into turmoil. Defiant season. I know a few of the boys that were in it. How proud he is of what he's achieved that year and how good a dressing room was that?
That was amazing. That football achievement-wise, obviously you win things at Celtic. That's probably up there because we were stripped to the bones. Your kit man had been there. He was first out the door. Saw him with a tear in his eye. Neil Long, he'd been 13 years out the door. I thought, we're in trouble here. But that squad, boys coming for juniors, boys getting signed through juniors, trialists, etc. Neil McCann, boys on loan. I think we had Jamie Adams on loan. Just absolute. If you could do a video or a story,
documentary,
film on it, it would be amazing because that team, what they went through, boys playing injured and everything. Higgy played with a stake in his boot 1 week. He had a bruised foot.
He should have done that every week.
But amazing. Great dressing room, great boys.
How is Big Jeeves? I spoke to him last night. He says,
brilliant.
Probably best time of his career.
I think you're written off. You're down there. You've got nothing else to fight for. The only one thing you can do is get on with it and try and win games. And they were amazing. He
did ask us to ask you about you and wee Sparky. He says that could kick off every now and again. Was he hard work with Lee Griffiths?
Aye. He's a lovable rogue. Still sent him a text when his news came through about him. He's just a wee punk. He'll always be a wee punk to me. But I was trying to guide him the right path when we were there. He wouldn't listen to me.
No. But a good player.
He turned up late for the Motherwell game and then got sent off. So I've got him in the showers. I've got him in the showers. Up like that. Because he gets sent off the last couple of minutes. Turned up late. It wasn't the fact he turned up late. It's the fact he turned up late. We hadn't done the team talk, which then affects my preparation. We get beat, we're out. But he's not thought about the rest of the players' preparation. And that's what probably Lee will be thinking about now. You know, I bet if he went to Lee and asked him, I was selfish that day. because he ruined everybody else's preparations and he gets sent off. So I've got him by the shirt like that. Gary Irvin's hanging off my arm. Matty Lockwood's just standing there, soaping himself up for about 5 minutes, and wee Sparky's blue.
Would wee Sparky be swinging back?
Oh no, he was trying to get the hands off his throat. But Matty Lockwood with a big poodle hair and that's just standing there, soaping himself. Gary Irvin's hanging off my arm.
Amazing. Another thing he wanted to ask you about is Rab's bar.
Studs and stilettos.
How many good nights have you had in there? And somebody else asked us to ask you about Barry Smith's role in that season as well.
Barry Smith, sensational. It was sink or swim for Barry. Barry had been the youth coach. Obviously, Doddsy and Chizzy left. Barry's team talk at Stirling. You know, you're thinking, let's see what he's got. He came in, and you could tell he was nervous. You know, we're thinking, well, if Dundee go down, there'll be no Dundee. It was basically that. And
you told that?
No, but you wouldn't have got out the CVA. I don't think. The money was staying in the league. That everybody was due, etc. But Barry did the team talk and we went on and we either drew 1-1 or we won 1-0. We won at Stirling, I'm sure. And that just kick-started us on the run. I'm sure we won at Stirling. I need to double check that.
Right, okay.
But the boys were up for it. You could tell Barry was sitting there. But then we all bought into it. You know, that you look in the dressing room, there was like 16 and the groundsman was bringing the kit, etc. You know, you were down to bare bones. And that bond with the boys...
Be there forever.
Aye.
What pressure's harder? Playing in that to save a club you need to win every week down the bottom, or an Old Firm or a UEFA Cup Final? What pressure's harder?
I would say, to me, the Old Firm I didn't do as well in some of them. You know, you're thinking. Then I went a couple, 2 or 3, which was clean sheets, which is great. You flog an Old Firm goal, it's magnified. Nothing was expected yet at Dundee because they took the points off you. You weren't expected to go. You know, probably... Now they would hit a team with 30 points just to make sure.
That they went down
it was amazing. It really was, you know.
And Studs and Stilettos, give us what names have been in there anyone would know?
John Harrison was in it actually a wee while ago. Him and Lenny came up and did a charity for a wee Sunday do for a wee girl in Dundee that's got cancer. But Johnny was up at it. But I've had the Forfar boys, I've had the Arbroath boys, the Dundee boys, but it's no trainers.
So you've got to wear smart shoes?
Dress shoes.
Bobo's on the door, Bobo's the bouncer.
There's a sign up there, right? And boys have come in, and this is God's honest truth. They've come in with trainers on. I went up and got size 11 slip-ons, size 11 lace-ons. We won the Alba Cup with Dundee in 2009, I think. 2009, I'm sure it was. Jockey was 3-2, we beat Inverness. Next door neighbour's a Dundee fan. I says, Dave, bring a couple of your pals. Well, they all turned up with trainers on. There was about 70. It's a double garage, just a bit bigger than a double garage. 70 all the jerseys up around it. Boys all turn up with trainers. So I've went and got them a couple of pair of my slip-on shoes. One of the boys is wearing Debbie's shoes, right? So their trainers are, in fact, they're wearing Debbie's slippers. The trainers were lying at the back door. I went out to go for a pee in the house, and me Sparky's flinging their trainers all over the fence.
Brilliant. Would see some nights at Dundee, would you go straight for the bar into training? Would it be that sort of?
No. It was always after. You got to earn the right for a night in Studs. You got to get a win.
And did you go back there after you stayed up with Dundee that season?
There was a few parties in there that time. That was a great squad. Rhys West and that. It was.
Did Barry Smith join in as well as the manager?
Aye. Barry was in the Christmas night out with us as well.
Right.
You know, it was in Edinburgh. I'm sure we were meant to be going to Belfast or something. We lost it because a game was off, etc. with the bad snow that year. Right. It was a really bad winter in 2010. And we were in Edinburgh and it was... Mayhem.
Brilliant. Right, finally, what made you decide to hang up the gloves?
I didn't know I'd hung them up yet.
Are you still available for
selection? No, I train with our both goalies. I try and keep them relatively shape, but it was 2 years... I hadn't played in 2 years, so I think you can safely say they're almost hung up.
But if called upon, you would play?
I would play if need be. Preferably not, though.
And you think you can still do a job?
No, not really. I've never been able to.
And just finally, for the future, coaching, managing?
Enjoying coaching, learning. I never ever thought I'd do either. I vowed I would never. When you're learning under the gaffer at Arbroath, it's great, you know, so... I'll go. I've just done some goalie badges here. I'm going to go and do some more and see how we go. But it's no life or death, but it's enjoyable.
Rab, top man. Thanks very much. Cheers, mate.